thank you, Chairman Webster. It's a pleasure to be working with you again, now on trains, before on economic development. I look forward to working with you and the other members of the subcommittee to make progress on matters related to railroads, pipelines, and hazardous materials. There's a lot of work to be done, such as completing pipeline and rail safety legislation and preparing for the surface transportation reauthorization so we can be sure to find a way to maintain ongoing investments for rail and pipeline safety projects. We don't want them to get lost in the highway shuffle. Las Vegas is my district, and it was founded as a rail stop initially. And right now, right through my district, right through downtown Las Vegas, we have a number of trains every day carrying all kinds of things. Now also we're at the forefront of the high-speed passenger rail. That's with the Bright Line, and that's going to be very exciting. This is a 218-mile route that has tremendous potential for economic development all across the Southwest, not just in Nevada, and it's going to create thousands of good-paying union jobs. You know, Bright Line West is going to provide inner-city passenger rail service between Las Vegas and Los Angeles and some stops in between, and it's going to turn what is a 4-hour drive on a good day into a reliable 2-hour ride. It's fully electrified, and it's going to reduce emissions, it's going to relieve traffic, and it's going to provide travelers a safe and more fun way to get to their destination, which we hope is Las Vegas. Now, Bright Line was the first high-speed rail project to reach the first of its kind memorandum of understanding with all 13 rail unions. They all use rail labor in the operation and maintenance, and this is quite an accomplishment. All told, it's one of the most exciting passenger rail projects in the country in a long time. I was proud to support investments in the bipartisan infrastructure law that made this public-private partnership a reality. The project was awarded $3 billion in federal state partnership for inner-city passenger rail grants. That's a mouthful, but it's going to also include $9 billion in private investment. In addition to Bright Line, as I mentioned, we also see a number of freight shipments that move by rail right through the district, and these include hazardous materials. And I continue to have concerns about those as trains get longer and longer. So not only do we need to be mindful of train length, but I want to be sure that our workers and first responders know exactly what's moving on those trains. Congress required the Pipeline and Hazardous Materials Administration to develop guidelines for the trains to inform first responders in real time after an accident occurs so they know what they're dealing with. I'm pleased that the previous administration was able to get this requirement finalized. That was in June 2024, and I urge its continued implementation so first responders have the information they need when they respond, and the communities around there are also prepared to deal with rail incidences. Lastly, I'd like to see this committee pass rail safety legislation. I'm glad that the previous administration finalized a 2-person crew requirement. I've long advocated for that, and I was pleased to hear that the DOT nominee, Mr. Duffy, indicated his support for that requirement during his confirmation hearings last week. So I hope we can hold him to that and work with the new administration to get rail safety legislation that contains a number of important safety improvements across the finish line during this Congress. So I thank our witnesses who are here today for their time and look forward to hearing their information. And with that, I'll yield back.